try this again. I am Chris Gore. It's Monday. It's time for Versus. Today on the show, Art the Clown has new competition from Smile 2. We will talk about it. Plus, Dune Prophecy is coming. What are our predictions? What are we anticipating? Plus, the 100 best zombie movies of all time. And I gotta say, I've seen most of them. Kind of crazy. And your comments, questions, concerns. Let's get right to it. We are live. I believe we are live. So let's go, everyone. Get ready for another edition of Versus. The contenders are here. Let's go. Are we live on YouTube?
We are live.
We are live. Let's go.
Alan Ng, Film Thread. Hey, ladies, smile. Hey, ladies, smile. We're going to talk about it.
Hello, I'm Elena at Nerd Cookies here to talk about delicious lore.
You missed all the fun things we said the first time. Angry Badger, hi, let's go.
What's happening, guys? Dante from Verbal Riot, and there was a glitch in the Matrix, but I think we're back into the pods now.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Tasty wheat.
Here we go. So, folks, my apologies. Technical glitch. I don't know what happened.
We're blaming StreamYard.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
Blame StreamYard for sure. But we see you now. I see you. So let's
see you in
go.
The chat.
Everyone's here. Real quick, the election collection is leaving soon. So go to shop.filmthreat.com. We've got the Drinker's Choice capsule collection, which I'm wearing it now. Can I say? I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite shirts now. We have a retro collection inspired by Krull, the Warriors, among others. Halloween collection, spooky season. Pick up that. And the election collection, only available until November 5th. So check it out. I picked up some of the buttons here, which I think are great. Gore Ing. That's the ticket. And we'll do anything to win, even work at a McDonald's.
Oh my God.
We will do that.
Let's do it.
Thank you, everybody. We are live now, and we may have others joining us late in the stream, but let's go.
Donald Trump is just like us.
He gave seven. He gave seven
like
chicken McNuggets in an order of 6.
I'll tell
He's
you
a real
this
hero.
as people are filing in here. When I worked at Burger King.
Ooh.
And they put me up front to take orders, and maybe it won't be shocking, I was terrible at it. I was terrible working the counter. So they put me back, and I made burgers. I made Whoppers, burgers. I did that whole thing. It's an assembly line. It's very simple. And I did the graveyard shift. I would be done with work at 5 a.m. and they would send me home with they would throw away whatever was left at the end of the night, but I'd take a little bag of burgers home to my mom. I worked Burger King for a summer. Anyone else work fast food besides me and Trump?
And this was back when they actually grilled the burgers, right?
Yes, that you grilled them.
They actually grilled the burgers.
You saw the special order. You put on extra pickles, whatever. Yep. And I did Burger King, and to this day, I still kind of like Burger King because I worked there. So no one else worked fast food.
No fast food, but I've run and then later on was an entire burger little stand. But that was actual cooking, full on flat tops. What did you do there? Did you have to microwave it or?
No, they were grilled. It was not a microwave. It was a grill. Oh. They came down to grill. Now they were frozen patties. Kind of thin. They were.
But that's normal though.
That's normal, sure.
Oh, yeah, and
it's a conveyor belt type thing, right?
To this day, I still like Whoppers, but Burger King fries are terrible.
No, I've been a server. I've never at a restaurant, but I've never worked fast food. Actually,
Yeah.
no. That's not true. I worked at Johnny Rockets for a very short time.
So yeah, I can see there's love for Burger King in here. There is love for Burger King. So there you go. No, I think that every kid should work fast food just to learn basic show up on time, learn a job, learn to hate your job, and then quit your job. That's why you need to do that.
But still do it well while complaining the entire time and hating it.
Lord Thoth dropping facts. BK fries are awful. They're like, yeah. And
also, let me just state, I what Trump did at McDonald's, I look, man, I'm all for it. You know, it was all good fun. It wasn't like he was doing anything malicious, and you know, it's not this weird conspiracy theory like the left thinks it is. You know what I mean?
RFK was probably like, "No, Donald."
I just think he was having a good time, man, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I feel like he may have been trolling. I'll just say that.
Maybe
he might have been trolling.
Just because Kamala said she worked at McDonald's, and it fact checks that she did in fact not work at McDonald's.
Yeah,
Real
but
quick.
they
she also said she was black. So
by the way, they accused Trump of not having facts regarding whether she facts about not working at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right, before we get into our topics, Alan and I may be feeling a little rough today. I was at the Newport Beach Film Festival. This was my wristband. Alan has his badge. We have videos for members only. So check out the members only section for videos and Q&As from movies Alan and I have seen. Alan took me to an Irish pub.
Ooh, did you get
Wow.
a Guinness?
I did
He
not
didn't do anything.
I did not drink that day,
Christian boys had a bit of corned beef and went home to sleep.
no, I hung out by the pool and I saw movies, and Alan's still there actually. So
Yeah,
he'll be going to see films all this week. So check out our coverage, and we're doing a big giveaway Wednesday. For Wednesday's show, we have concert tickets to the Walt Disney Concert Hall. So check out the details. For members only can win that giveaway. It's a great giveaway. We try to do giveaways and extras for members only. So
what is the concert, by the way? You said where
I don't know. I posted the details.
know.
I'm a little off today from our false start.
I blame the corned beef from last night.
But let's
By the way,
get into
we met Michael Burnham from Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, how is she?
she's very
She was
lovely.
fine. She was with her husband, and she was great. The movie that
What he look like? Just wondering.
Someone who could beat us senseless.
True.
Cool.
So we won't say. But no, the movie she was in was very good. We'll talk about that near when it releases. We'll probably have an early review from Alan, but we filmed the Q&A. Let's get into it. Smile 2. We'll talk box office. Smile 2, I braved the theater to see it. Alan did not. But for those of you that saw it, it's getting across the board better than expected reviews. Everyone agrees it's much better than the first, which I thought was meh to okay. But this one, miles above. Didn't need to be over 2 hours, I'll say that. But I quite enjoyed Smile 2. Alan, if you would bring up the box office, bring that up, and let's see who won the weekend. And it was
Joker 2.
No surprise. Smile 2 at 23 million, which is, I mean, that's the budget for Smile 2 was 28 million. So 23 million opening weekend is very good. And shocker, The Wild Robot at number 2 made another 10 million. That movie is already on digital.
They just released a new featurette on that too.
I really enjoyed Wild Robot. Terrifier 3, an indie movie, made am I reading that right? 9.3 million?
Over this past weekend.
Insane. For a total of 36 million, Terrifier 3, for a movie that is a $2 million indie movie. Beetlejuice at number 4 with another 5 million.
Still.
Yeah. We Live in Time, the movie that Alan saw at number 5. Joker dropped to number 6, making 2.1 million. Another wait, is that a 69% drop off?
Yes, it is.
69.
Alan, is that a 69% drop off?
69.
So, wow, Joker 2 will be the biggest failure this year. Piece by piece, hey, it's that Pharrell Williams documentary.
That was
7.
a great movie.
You finally saw it, Dante.
Yes, I loved it.
So good.
It's
so
ridiculously good.
The way they told his story when he was a kid
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yes.
So
I
well
hope
done.
to never see a documentary like that ever again.
It worked for this. I wouldn't want to see
done.
that for anything else.
It might get the Oscar for best animated.
Rounding out the top 10, Transformers 1 at number 8, Saturday Night at number 9, and The Nightmare Before Christmas, which I did see with my daughter last week, at number 10, 1.2 million. Very strange. So many older films, including Beetlejuice, opened the first weekend in September, and it's standing in at number 4, a total of almost 283. 200, almost, it's closing in on 300 million. So
that's domestic.
Yeah.
By the way, Transformers 1 is coming out tomorrow on digital already. So that shows you how.
There are a lot of takeaways from this. 1, Joker 2, biggest failure of the year. There's no doubt. Terrifier 3 might be the biggest indie movie of all time. The only thing it's not likely to beat is the Blair Witch Project, which was made for like 60 grand and made 100 million. And that was
that was crazy.
20 years ago. So, but Terrifier 3 will be at least number 2 in terms of ROI, return on investment. Other lessons and takeaways from this, what say you all?
Well, for me, the lesson is, at least in regards to Terrifier knows what it is. It knows what it is. It doesn't try to trick its audience. It doesn't try to beat down its audience. It doesn't try to make the audience feel stupid. Terrifier is what it is. It came out. It made its money. It knew what it needed to cost to make that money, and it's made a profit. Gee, imagine that. Being reasonable with your budget and making a solid product and getting profits. Who would have thought that would work?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, we also talked about this on Friday, but Terrifier 3 is unrated. Didn't go through the MPAA. In fact, there are more films not going through the MPAA. Obviously, there's concert films, but these small pillars, these pillars that have been in Hollywood for a very long time, are starting to come down. And it looks like the MPAA might be the first to go away. It's irrelevant.
Yeah. So, what are the repercussions of that, of going without a rating?
Well, it used to be that no theater would ever show your movie if you didn't have a rating. Well, Terrifier 3, a lot of movie theaters are showing Terrifier 3, and it's clearly not a rated R movie.
Oh no.
No,
NC-17.
I'll say this: theaters are trying a lot of things to be relevant. They are running but in movie theaters, they are doing opera. Okay, seriously, I look at everything playing at AMC and other theaters. There's opera. They do UFC fights. They did the Olympics. They're doing classic movies. Back to the Future is playing today in theaters, timed with, when the events of Back to the Future 2 took place, right? So it played on Saturday. It plays today. Like, theaters are doing a lot now to bring people in. I think when you go to a luxury theater experience, an IMAX, they now have bars and alcohol. I suggested years ago that movie theaters should serve beer and have a bar. That's everywhere now.
Well,
now
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it just shows how desperate, though, the theaters are getting. The fact that they'll look past the rating system now just to get asses and seats, like, that shows how desperate they are right now.
Well, because even successful movies are being rushed to streaming, like, as soon as possible.
Yep.
Like you said, The Wild Robot, didn't that just come out?
It just came out. That's out. And then Transformers 1 is out tomorrow. So this is desperate time for theaters. So I think we're going to see more of this.
But with that said, the horror films generally do well in October. I mean, just in the theater. I mean, people want to go out and watch a horror film.
Well, that's true.
I mean, it was good timing. It was good marketing. And I think it just, at least with Terrifier, it had just everything working for it.
Yeah. So my point is, it just opens up the market now to indie filmmakers. Because Regal is buying movies and putting it in their theaters. AMC, I'm pretty sure, is gonna,
and they make most of their money from concessions, right? So they need. Who cares if you're going there to watch an opera or play a video game on the big screen or watch it? But just get in there and then buy their stuff and their popcorn buckets.
Yeah, it's look, I like the popcorn buckets. They're collectible. I think they're fun, right? I mean, I get so many points from AMC. I'll get a bucket that's interesting if I like it. But I don't know. I think they have to do, and there's other things. There's Ghibli Fest, Studio Ghibli, right? Release. They do that once a year. I mean, I like alternative programming in theaters. Like, I like it. So I'm all in. But it shows how desperate, and Hollywood has lost its lock. Hollywood is not a guarantee anymore, right? So, in fact, I think there's a movie coming out. I keep seeing the trailer. It looks like it will bomb. It gets no reaction. Have you seen this trailer, Red 1?
Oh my God. The one that I just saw action figures for from McFarlane. I was like, what? Why?
Is that the Chris Evans movie?
Yeah. It's a Santa Claus action movie. It's like Air Force One, but with Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It looks colossally dumb. It's got, The Rock in it with Chris
J.K.
Evans.
Simmons is Santa?
Yes, J.K. Simmons is Santa. And then a
Lucy
whole lot
Liu.
of messy digital effects. It looks so
I'm
bad.
looking at the McFarlane figures, and I'm like, why is there a Santa Claus that looks jacked like J.K. Simmons? And why is The Rock in another? Oh, dear God, they're making figures on Red 1. So it's like Air Force One?
Precisely. So, it looks so bad. That's what Hollywood is offering up. Even when it's an original idea, it's just an amalgam of a whole bunch of other crap. So that looks, I cringe every time I see the trailer. It's so everything wrong with Hollywood.
Didn't I hear they spent like $300 million on it? Or
is that true?
I thought I heard that.
What's the movie he was in with Ryan Reynolds and Gal? It's unfinishable. It's on Netflix where they're all spies, thieves.
Oh yeah.
Red Notice, something. It's gonna be in the same vein, probably.
On just $250 million, but that's still expensive.
For that movie,
that movie reminds me of this. It's the movie you see at Thanksgiving because no one can agree on what movie to see. But the little kids want this, the adults want this, the teenagers want something else, and it's like, fine, we're going to Red 1 because no one can decide.
Red Notice, Red
There
1.
are so many movies that are like that where it's like, well, if we're all going to the movies, we have to pick one, and that's the one that is at the end. No one would pick.
Look, there was a time when these mediocre movies could have did well in the theater, and that was back in the day when movie tickets cost $10, right? But you're asking people to drop $20 for garbage, and they're just not going to do it anymore.
True. So I think pay close attention. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, this is the one where they yelled at him for being late.
Yeah, Red 1 down. How Dwayne Johnson's tardiness led to a $250 million runaway production. Alan, can you zoom in and give us?
Well, it's the Rap Pro, so I don't have a.
Well, just that first paragraph.
Yeah. For more than 2 decades, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has nurtured a reputation hardworking, muscle-bound action comedy movie star with a considerable box office drawing power. But Red 1, the high-powered Christmas crowd pleaser for Amazon MGM, has turned into a massive budgetary misadventure, casting Johnson's fame and work ethic in a different light. That's all I've got there.
I can see it. Hold on. Production issues ranging from Johnson's chronic lateness and lack of professionalism on set to producers' inexperience. I was trying to see like porn back in the day through the squeaky television. I can see it. I can almost make it out. Basically, I've heard this before. He's late. He's unprofessional. And because of that, a very expensive scene that they were setting up to shoot got like they messed up their timing and it cost them like hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is what his beef with Vin Diesel was from the Fast and Furious. That he's late, he's cavalier, he doesn't have a work ethic. So not the first time you've heard things like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's disappointing, but this movie I predict will tank because no one asked for this.
Also, can we just all finally admit that the shine has kind of come off The Rock now?
Bro, when was it there? Like I was waiting.
I mean, it was there for a while, and then,
I know, but he plays the same in almost every single like the Runaway, one of his first action films. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. But yeah,
he was never late for wrestling. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I think The Rock kind of wishes he had the career of Dave Bautista. You know, we saw Dave Bautista. I'm serious. Dave Bautista is taken seriously. We saw him in a film with Pamela Anderson at the Newport Beach Film Festival called The Last Showgirl. The Last Showgirl. And Alan liked it. I'll just say that. Alan really liked it.
I liked it. I don't know I really liked it, but I liked it.
No, it was okay. It was I thought it was good.
Down, yeah.
But Dave Bautista was great. He actually can act.
Well, Dave Bautista is a good actor. I mean, he may be insufferable in real life, but he's a good actor. Yeah. Hell, I think John Cena is a better actor than The Rock.
That's as great as the Beast.
Wow.
Beast Raban.
Oh God, he's so good.
He was bad in Bond though. And also Ip Man 2, he was bad. Hey, I have details of The Rock's behavior. Reports indicate that Johnson was frequently 7 to 8 hours late to filming on numerous occasions, and there were days when he missed shooting entirely. These repeated delays extended the production schedule and added around $50 million to the film's overall budget, which ultimately grew to $250 million. The setbacks were reportedly due to his busy schedule and commitments, but these delays were disruptive enough to cause friction on set and with the production team.
7 to 8 hours.
Blew past the Acolytes budget.
If a shooting day is normally 12 to 14 hours, reasonably, and you've delayed 8 of them.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Actually, how do you work after that? Like, who hires you?
His wife, who's his agent, obviously has all the connections, and he still gets work.
She's also Henry Cavill's agent, right?
Yes, she is. For some reason, I don't know why he hasn't seen what's gone on with him, but
yeah.
All right, well, let's pivot from this. Overall, I think it's a weak weekend at the box office. Even though Smile 2 has done well, it's still kind of a weak box office. I think this year is going to be looked on as a pivot year for Hollywood, and we'll get into more of that on Wednesday on our Wednesday show.
But has October usually been a big month for box office? Like
big for horror,
yes,
big for horror. But this is Joker 2. Joker 2's failure is going to affect the industry in a big way.
You saw the Hollywood Reporter article, right, about them complaining in California about the lack of actual productions. It's under 5,000, and they're asking for tax credits and anything to get people to do more.
We talked about it. We talked about it.
We'll talk about it on Wednesday.
We have some big news Wednesday for that. But we have news stories we want to get to. I want to let you know Robert Meyer Burnett is not here today. He had some family issue. He will be back next week. So just to let you know who you were asking. And Derek Anderson also last minute had to bail. Let's read some of these supers because people have complained we're not reading the supers during the show. So we'll take a few breaks, but mainly stick to the conversation. Here we go.
Daniel for 2. Anyone who doesn't see Smile 2 isn't a real man. Well, I guess I'll go see it.
See? Thank you,
Jesus Davila for 2. Burger King Whopper hits the spot for me.
I agree.
Graph Web for 2. In the name of all that is holy, hashtag cancel Disney Plus.
The most dedicated man on social media.
Very prolific. Very prolific. Rudy for 5. What?
Oh, thank you for the support for supporting Film Thread.
Yeah, thank you.
Rudy for 5. I feel like anything The Rock is in is just going to be garbage. When was his last really good movie? How many garbage movies has he been in? A lot. And like I said, The Rundown is actually the one.
I can't think of his last good movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think of one I liked, and I can't think of one.
Which one?
Alan? I was trying to think of a movie.
Say, the last WrestleMania. He was great.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about movies, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, I liked his character in that, but
we are going to talk about the 100 best zombie movies. We have other news, but I am, after the latest trailer for Dune Prophecy, I am officially excited. That new trailer, if you have not seen it, and unfortunately, if we play it here, we'll get copyright struck, but I need to direct you to the Nerd Cookies channel that has been on top of this story. She is, Elaine is doing the maker's work here with coverage. I am excited. It feels like they're telling Dune types of stories in the Dune universe, but with a different set of characters. And I kind of like this. I'll tell you why. Because if they make Dune based on the book Dune series, I know what happens. I know Duke Leto is brutally killed. I know what happens with Paul. There may be variations in the way they tell the story, but if they make it, I know what's going to happen. It's a novel I read 5 times, including listen to audiobook. So I know what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen in Dune Prophecy. And it seems to have the same elements. You have the Bene Gesserit. You've got, of course, the Emperor. You have spice mining and worms. It's the same game pieces, as it were, if you're playing a game, a Dune board game, but it's an outcome we cannot predict with a new set of characters. I am excited based on the new trailer, which unfortunately we're not going to play, but this story from Empire, Dune Prophecy, is in the same universe as Denis Villeneuve's movies. He set the tone. And when you see that trailer, it really looks similar with
what about this picture, Chris? Daniel said that screenshot doesn't inspire me. I as well, because I look at that and I feel like she's about to tell them the power of one, the power of two, and the power of many Bene Gesserits. I'm a little worried. Pattern recognition. Elaine,
okay.
Tell me I'm wrong.
There are so many other images in the new trailer. I, for one, am excited. For those of you that have seen the trailer, which will not play, what do you think? What are your reactions to the trailer?
I haven't seen it yet, but I guess I had a question though. So I'm a Dune newbie. I'm a casual. I know nothing about the universe outside of the movies. So if I were coming into this, like say, just wanted to learn a little bit more about the universe itself, right? Would this be too much for a newbie to get, or is this all inside baseball for people who are like Dune, fanatics? Is it accessible? I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
As far as you know, I think with Denis Villeneuve's interpretation, which is what the kind of style and that they're going for, as this article confirms, I think they're going to try to still make it accessible, because I feel like those 2 films weren't lore heavy, especially Dune Part 2. There's a lot that was kind of very streamlined, but I think that they're going to try and build out the universe that we were missing. So, but hopefully they do it in a way that's still accessible to, if it's entertaining, and that will be accessible to everybody. But yeah, I have no idea as far as like how the story is going to go. I can't tell you. I can't predict, but it looks good. It looks, especially this latest trailer, because I've been probably the most skeptical about it. It's had a lot of production issues trying to get underway, which if you're a Dune fan, you come to expect production issues. but from what I've seen, the imagery looks good. They've built sets, they film on location. So I think it's definitely more competently made. So the issues that I've had with like maybe Rings of Power, The Acolyte, I think there's a lot of good people involved in the production that know what they're doing. And the title card at the end of the trailer, it showed that it was based on Frank Herbert's universe and Brian Herbert's and Kevin J. Anderson prequel novel. But it's going to be an original story for the most part, I believe. But yeah. So
how far removed are they from the movies as far as
like
time?
10,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of like a New Republic versus or High Republic, right? Versus.
They're in the wake of a machine crusade. All AI thinking machines have been purged from the universe, and this is what basically the foundation is of Frank Herbert's world, because these institutions have come to replace the void of technology. So that's why the Bene Gesserit are the way they are. That's why they have these amazing abilities, and why the Spacing Guild operates the way it does. With its navigators, they rely on the spice, so that's why that's so important. You have mentats, which are the human computers, and you have the emperor, who relies on just make sure the spice flows, and the Landsrad, which also balances that out as far as the power goes. So we have the elements in place, but there's some things that even I can't predict what's going for. Like the Desmond Hart character is an original character, Travis Fimmel, and he's closely connected with the emperor. So I've had some like theories going. I don't know if we're going to see the origin of the Sardaukar, because the way they are, the Sardaukar killers, the famous and infamy that they do hold, that's the reason why the emperor has been able to rule for 10,000 years, or his house has been able to maintain power. And I know a lot of people love the Sardaukar, and if we're going to have some, see the origins of the warrior religion of the Sardaukar, I think that would be cool. But I'm not sure Travis Fimmel's character has a power, and he's going to use that power to try to take down the Bene Gesserit. So I think that's an intriguing thing, and it's
probably
far
just
removed
immune to
enough.
the voice, right?
It's far removed enough to where, they use the voice, I think. Yes. It is far removed enough to where I don't think it's going to touch Frank Herbert's. I don't think there's much for them to ruin, hopefully. So I don't have the same concerns for like Rings of Power.
So it's like a High Republic of Star Wars,
it's Game of Thrones. It is George R.R. Martin really ripped off Frank Herbert and did a like middle age, inspired fantasy inspired universe with Game of Thrones. Dune really, when you look at great houses fighting, a battle for the empire, it's got commerce, religion, like economics. What I'm excited about for this show, and I've watched every video of yours, Elaine, is the opportunity to expand the universe. I think part of it, I don't know if this is true, this is speculation, that maybe they wanted a Dune show, but not based on characters created by Herbert. So they just take the world, make a new show with new characters.
So it's kind of all of those things. Like I said before, like it's based on Frank Herbert's universe, his institution, what he wrote about this time period, and the Sisterhood of Dune book, which is a prequel novel that Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson have written. And that will be the past storyline. So we're going to see young Tula and young Valia Harkonnen, and their backstories will be like inspired by that novel. But 30 years later, we're going to have this present storyline, I guess, with the older, mature Harkonnen sisters and Travis Fimmel and Havigo Carino, Mark Strong's character. So we're going to see these multiple timelines, but all that part is original to this show. So it seems like they want to tell a new story within this, which I kind of applaud, because we've only had Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson to expand upon this world as far as the EU goes. So it'd be kind of interesting. I like the idea of someone else telling a new story within Frank Herbert's world, his Duneverse. It's just been these two, and they're kind of seen as controversial when it comes to. So a lot of the Dune fans view it as fan fiction, which I think it's fan fiction based off of a fan fiction EU type thing. So I think Frank Herbert's
that's better as you go.
Yeah. I think Frank Herbert's books will remain untouched. That universe and its institution looks like it's all Frank Herbert. This is his world. But as far as like the background of the Brian Herbert stuff, we're going to have that, but it's telling a new story. So it's kind of like all of these things. to try to please everybody, I guess. I don't know, but I honestly have no expectations. My expectation is that Frank Herbert didn't write this story, so I'm going to just see what they have in mind for this, and hopefully they'll just remain true to the lore that he did establish for this time period.
Well, I agree with Lord Thoth. I think that this is, I think Dune is better than Game of Thrones. It kind of set the template. It was so far ahead of its time when it was published in 1965. I was at a nerd book show here in Pasadena, and they had the original magazine that the early chapters of Dune were printed in. It was like $6,000. It was like $6,000. It was amazing. But yeah, like I've always loved Dune because it was so layered. It's so many more layers. It's so much smarter than Star Wars, which is very normie. Star Wars is like normie genre stuff.
And but Star Wars was always meant to be normie. It wasn't meant to be anything deep.
Which is fine.
Yeah. And you know, Denis Villeneuve's films are very, like I said before, streamlined and not very, it gives you the lore, I guess, that you need to be invested in the story. So that's why I'm really excited, actually. I want to see the rest of these elements and the rest of the world built out as far as Mentats and as far as like the Sook Doctors. And yes, we're going to get the Bene Gesserit, but also the Landsrat, these other houses and these other planets. Want to see the Spacing Guild. I want to see these explored, and hopefully they'll take that opportunity to do that.
And hopefully,
by the way, the expanded universe, way more interesting, Chris. Like not normie. Like they took a lot, make it more complicated.
Yeah, and yes, George Lucas lifted quite a bit from Dune, a lot. In fact, that obviously this is a spoiler, but in Dune Part 2, we learn that Baron Harkonnen is the grandfather to Paul Atreides, very much like Darth Vader-Luke relationship. They're also the concept of twins, right? With Children of Dune. There's just so many elements that George Lucas lifted, threw in a blender and made his own, which is okay. You can be inspired, but I'm excited about the world building. I want to know what the ritual is of approaching the Spacing Guild. I want to go to this planet with an army, and I feel like the guild is like they are political, but they stay out of politics. I put that in quotes, right? So they serve all these different various interests. Like, hey, we're just transporting you from one place to the other. That's all we do.
As long as the spice flows,
right?
They support whoever does that.
I'm so excited about having areas of the Dune universe explored in depth in episodes, a TV series, so it can breathe. Because really, truly, as much as I love Dune Part 1 and 2, it's cliff notes of the book. It is cliff notes. I think you would agree.
Well, yeah, because otherwise it'd be like an 8-hour movie.
He even admitted when he's talking about the next one that it's not a direct adaptation of the books. It's different. He even says with Shani, the way they end up at the end, it's different circumstances. So, hey, at least he admits it.
Also, I have to say, man, like I don't mind fan fiction if it's done well. So if it is fan fiction, then as long as it's a good story, then I'm all in.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted from the beginning. I was open to the fact of a new story. And Frank Herbert doesn't elaborate in great detail about this particular time period. But it's such a fascinating, we're all fascinated by it, about this 10,000 years in the wake of this machine purge, because that's what the entire foundation of this universe is based on and why it operates the way it does. So it's a very fascinating area to explore.
Going to be needing it real soon.
Yeah. And I love lore. I want the world building that we missed in the adaptations. I feel like if you're hungry for that, and I think if viewers loved those films and they're hungry for like more of that stuff, they'll check it out. So, and hopefully it's good.
I mean, I just think of the types of stories you could tell in the Dune universe if you have time. For example, you could meet a young we could follow the journey of a young person who gets addicted to spice, is taken under the tutelage of the Spacing Guild to then evolve into one, like a third stage navigator, like a story hundreds of years in the making, right? Like there's so much you could get into the economics and like you were saying, the Sardaukar. How did that happen?
Yeah, I'm interested because they said that the Emperor, that he has a tenuous hold on power. So if he can't get spice going, which we see like a harvester sabotaged, that they'll feed him to the worm. And so there's those kinds of power struggles going on and backstabbing, and that's definitely Frank Herbert's world, that there's this time of assassins, this different technologies they're going to have to use in the wake of this machine purge. So it's a lot of interesting things, and I'm interested to see how he secures his hold on power with this new character, Desmond Hart, Travis Fimmell's character, because he seems to be right in step with the Emperor and wanting to secure his hold on the galaxy, but also his eyes are set on the Bene Gesserit, and he's aware of the threat they pose, which is very intriguing to me, that he knows things that basically they shouldn't know. I guess I don't know why he knows so much about the Bene Gesserit. Yeah.
I mean, the way this thing was sold was it was Bene Gesserit focused. I don't think, based on that trailer, I think they are certainly a player. They're a player on the chessboard, so to speak. Shout out to Razorburn for giving me a amazing Dune board game when I was in Atlanta for Dragon Con. You should come out for that, Elaine. I saw a lot of Dune cosplay. You didn't
I know. I saw that. I saw some of your stream.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, it was so fun. So fun. There was a sandworm. I think I posted the video. So they had a sandworm that went around the whole con. It was great. There was even a young woman dressed as a sexy sandworm. I don't know how you pull that off, but she did. She did. But no, I'm interested in, and also even the machine war itself, because look at our present day. Frank Herbert was so ahead of the curve. There are no robots. There are no aliens. Spaceships are sort of a small part of the background of the universe. His novel Dune was the anti-science fiction novel. It stripped away elements that everyone else had. Aliens, robots, starships, laser guns.
Because the people sort of become the aliens. The different houses separate and change so much that they might as well be. I mean, House Harkonnen does not look human.
True.
Yeah, he didn't want the focus to be on science or technology. He wanted to be on humanity and its various institutions, how they would progress or regress, also in a lot of ways, in the wake of that conflict. So a lot of these science fiction stories is about the conflict of man versus machine. This is 10,000 years removed from that, and how humanity has advanced to that.
Again, having never read the books, do they explain like how, at least with the Bene Gesserits, how they get their abilities, or is it just they just have them?
Oh no, it takes years of like intense mental and physical training. A lot of deaths. If you the ceremony you see of Lady Jessica transforming the poison in the movies, that requires intense. And the Gom Jabbar test, same thing. They all go through that test of intense pain, and you have to come to the point where you're removed from those human-like tendencies to save yourself and become greater. So they all go through the test that Paul went through, and they may not survive it if they're not strong enough. So there are a lot of deaths that happened in order for humanity to rise above that, to advance, to look inward and advance in these other ways. So for the Bene Gesserit, they have the utmost control of their inner body, their selves, but that also extends to manipulating other cultures and the rich and powerful. So that's where their power comes from. And then you have the Spacing Guild, they have their ships. That's probably the only technology we have, space travel. The Highliners,
Dante, yes,
fold
you will
space.
probably see it. Saw the screenshot of them training her. You'll probably see them training Bene Gesserits and how to do their things and their vocal manipulation.
Correctly, there are only 6 episodes.
Yes, it's 6 episodes. I guess that makes sense considering how many production issues they had. I don't know if that was their initial plan. But yeah, six episodes, hopefully.
By the way, don't make a joke, Bumpy Johnson. Dune the musical was in a series, I believe it's on HBO, with the Duplass brothers. And one of the characters, it was a side plot where they put on Dune the musical Look it up. I'm gonna find clips right now. It did happen. It did happen. What was this HBO show? It existed.
I just hope Travis Fimmel is a good point of view character, because that's who I'll be latching onto probably. I just hope he's not constantly degradate. You know how they do.
I feel like we're gonna be the one to root for him, because we want to. The Bene Gesserit are not the good guys. I mean, this universe is not, the classic good versus evil. This is a universe where you can have those gray area characters. This is where this belongs. But as far as there are characters that do good things that we do root for, like Paul Atreides. Like, we rooted for him to take down House Harkonnen and the evil emperor and subvert the Bene Gesserit's plan. So, and that was the problem.
I was going to say, so they're not like the Jedi, but then I thought, well, they've already made the Jedi scumbags now, so I guess.
But with actual manipulate, they're the Jedi if Palpatine was correct and that they were super corrupt the whole time and manipulating the Republic and.
Yeah, they're more like the Sith, like, I guess.
We will more like Sith, exactly, of just trying to get a Sathari to come out.
But they control their emotions. That's the key there.
So they're Vulcan too. Control their emotions.
In a way.
But they control them. Yeah.
Just so you know, I don't know if I know something about Dune that Elaine does not. I will be shocked. But Togetherness is the series on HBO. It was produced by the Duplass brothers, and Mark Duplass is in it. In Togetherness season 2, episode 8, there's a thing where they put on Dune the musical. Okay. I watched this whole series because I like the Duplass brothers. I like their indie movies, and Togetherness it's a drama, and it's very funny, but they put on Dune the musical. Elaine, I'm sure you have Max. Check out Togetherness season 2, episode 8 for Dune the musical.
Does the sandworm sing?
There's sandworms in it, but I always love when there was another movie where Adam Scott makes Dune references. It's a weird thing where, you're like, it's like being a Doctor Who or a Dune fan amongst like everybody likes the normal stuff, and you like stuff that's very insular and weird, but Dune is finally getting its comeuppance. So I'm in heaven and I can't wait for this. And the fact that it looks, at least production wise, similar to the films, it's consistent with that, I'm really enjoying. So, but I will temper my enthusiasm until I see it. But 6 episodes, I expected more, but we'll see.
It could be great. It could be great. I've learned my lesson twice, right? I thought 97 was going to be horrible. X-Men 97, and that first season at least was great. I thought The Penguin, who needs this? It's the best show on television. This could be amazing. So yes, I will withhold judgment.
The HBO, they get things right. The fact that they shut this down and then restarted it, I think tells you they don't want to F it up, right? We look at who's good at making TV. HBO is good. The Penguin has been, I haven't seen the latest episode, but good. That series is beyond, it's no right being as good as it is.
That actually gives me hope too, because the Penguin was done so well, and they thought that this series too deserved the HBO mantle, so that gives me hope as well.
If you can make me care about Oswald Cobblepot as a character, you have done a very good job.
Oh, Dante, they've done something worse than that. I care about all the characters, even the ones I'm not supposed to like. They've done a brilliant thing. So yeah, if they can shepherd that in, dear gods, let them shepherd in something similar for Dune.
Yeah.
Please be good.
Yes. I love all the Star Wars. All right. There are some comments here. Let's get through these and we'll pivot to our next topic.
Zan Hugh for 742. Suggestion: top 10 TV horror movies like The Horror at 37,000 Feet, 1973. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, 1973. And Trilogy of Terror, 1975, etc.
Sean Hu, those are good suggestions. We are going to talk about zombie.
Trilogy of Terror was amazing.
Yes.
Joe Chapman for 5. I am excited for Dune Prophecy, but please no lesbian witches good, witch hating men bad. No more of that, please. And there's a solid chance we might get that, which is what we're all afraid of.
I don't think we're going to. I think when HBO does something, it's smart. Even House of the Dragon season 2 didn't end particularly well, but the way they handle female characters is so great. They don't. I don't think they're as simple minded as Disney. What do you think, Elaine? On the she might be. She might be
excellent. Yeah, no.
It's all good.
Yeah, and at least with House of the Dragon, the complaint was that they took out the big action scene at the end and put it to the next season, which is really what everyone wanted. Daniel for 2, are they going to make Dune Prophecy spicy? And if the Bene Gesserit are supposed to be infiltrating, right, and getting DNA and implanting and getting kids,
DNA,
we should see a lot.
Think it's HBO. If you're an actor and you're going to be on HBO, you will be naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flex Honcho for 5. There are some interesting ideas in Brian Herbert's books that I would have liked to have seen fleshed out better than he could write.
Well, we'll see. Thanks, Flex Honcho.
Albert Not a Retro for 5. Hey, what about boba tea and horrible white people appropriating Taiwanese culture? They need Simu Liu to defend them. Yeah, Alan, I know.
Yeah, I know.
That's a racism.
Just like Simu Liu.
Vietnamese, you want to talk about Taiwanese boba,
How
please?
dare you not honor the Taiwanese culture? Oh, I'm nothing. Woke.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I want all boba drinks and all superconducting chips to have a little Taiwan thing on them.
This man really went 10 toes down on boba.
Right.
On boba.
It's so dumb.
Like what?
Aaron Charman, remember for 5 months, can I get the lore on the origin of spice, please?
No.
It's cocaine.
Okay. Sorry.
Elaine, do you have a video on that?
Yeah. So do you have because I know it's probably a long explanation unless you have like a quick.
It's
On
literally
the origin
cocaine.
of spice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they should have shown that in the actual movies that we just gotten, but they kind of skipped over that part. So I guess spoilers, real quick, for Dune. They're from the spice. They're from the worms. It's a byproduct of their life cycle. So you need the worms to have the spice. So that's like a whole point of the story of the environmental impact in order to have the continued flow of spice.
Message.
So
it did bug me that they held back from what are some of the, in really important themes from the Dune book, right? Like,
yep. That was supposed to be a key part of this of Dune Part 2 of that. Because that's if you control the spice, you control the universe. And he was about to disrupt their life cycle. And that is how Paul secured power. Like he had the legitimate means through marriage to Irulan, but because he controlled the spice, Space and Gil was like, yeah, he's the main dude now.
Does the actual spice just come out? Because everyone is debating what leavings from the worm it is, and they're all horrible options.
Oh gosh. So I have a video on it. It's the life cycle of the sandworm and what is spice. But so they start off as sand trout, which secures all of the water of the planet, which is why the planet is a desert. All the water is secured below the surface. And once enough of those little sand trout, which are like tiny little maggots, I guess, when enough of them get together, a reaction happens and it explodes to the surface, and the sunlight makes it refined spice. So basically, and that is what they also feed off of. So yes, it's basically just them. It's the worms, just in a different stage of life and part of the planet itself in the sand. So it's a very like interconnected life cycle. But yes, it's sandworms just at a different stage.
Also, with the spice, is it only from that one planet?
Yes, that's part of the story too. It's only found on Arrakis,
right?
That's where the worms are found. But they don't make that connection initially of the sandworms to the spice. So that's a big point of revelation in the story, which Denis left out. So I don't know if it's going to be part of Dune 3, but spoilers.
Good luck.
I would defend Denis, and he made Dune palatable to mainstream.
Normies.
Yes,
they try to replicate the spice on other planets, so that's another thing they're going to try to do once they find that out. Because they want
he made it so I could understand it.
Yeah. It's Right, here we go. Last one here from Razorburn.
Razor Burn for 5. Nerd Cookies. Listen to Tame a Land by Iron Maiden. All based on Dune.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. Thanks, Razorburn. And look, Razorburn is in a photo with me dressed as Reed Richards.
Mr. Fantastic.
Oh my
Still better
God.
than Pedro. Still better than Pedro.
I have that costume. I might wear it somewhere. All right. Let's pivot for a moment. It is Halloween. Who here is dressing up? I have a lot of costumes, but I feel like
the costume.
Halloween is kind of amateur. I don't dress up at Halloween. I do at Dragon Con. Anyone?
We'll do it for the streams that day.
Yeah, I mean, unless I have a party to go to, I'm probably not going to dress up.
Right, same.
And my daughter got too old for that, so
but here's a story. Last week we talked about the 200 best horror movies ranked by Rotten Tomatoes. They have a new list.
Oh boy.
We'll put the link in the description. This is the 100 best zombie movies ranked by Tomato Meter. Okay, so this is not based on an opinion. It is based on the Tomato Meter ratings. So,
wait, critics or users?
I think it's.
I don't know, but
I've already guessed users break the tie.
Yeah, there we go. Number one at 100%. One Cut of the Dead from 2017. My favorite, this is number one on my list, created the genre at number 2, Night of the Living Dead.
That should have been number 1.
1968, black and white, very influential. There would be no zombie movies without George Romero setting the tone, creating the rules. And there are a lot of variations on rules. You know, Return of the Living Dead, other movies have changed things like anything, like with vampires, you know, zombies evolved. But without George Romero's 1968 classic, we wouldn't have 100 list. I like a lot of these choices. I don't like the order. Train to Busan at number 3. Chime in with your thoughts too.
Yeah, I think Dawn of the Dead should have been at least number 2 by Zack Snyder, and it's crazy to even say that, but that was a hell of a zombie movie.
The mall one, right?
Yeah.
I like
with James Gunn and Zack Snyder team up movie there.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going on the list.
Why am I on top? Do you want to switch places, Chris?
I
feel bad.
People on the bottom because we owe reparations.
Better than my face.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I didn't.
It's all good. Your avatar is better than me looking at my face. Number 4, Reanimator. Not sure I agree with that.
That's a good one.
I love that movie, but
Jeffrey Combs.
Is it a zombie movie? No. Now, Dawn of the Dead, 1978, 91%. This movie shocked the heck out of me as a kid. I saw it at I went to a zombie movie marathon. I think it was 13 or 14 years old. Went with my friends who could drive. Could not drive a car. We went to see this marathon. They didn't even start showing this movie till like 2 or 3 in the morning. I remember we got out of that movie. It was the most shocking, gory film I had ever seen up to that point. I'm a young teenager, can't even drive. We walked out of the movie bleary-eyed. The sun was just coming up like 6 in the morning. I was so freaked out because I'd never seen gore and violence as when they opened that door, the SWAT team, and blew up someone's head. Never seen anything like that in a movie ever. The ending is shocking. The themes underneath the surface about consumerism. Hey, we're living in a mall. We have everything we could possibly want, money and stuff, and we're not happy. So great. I think the best zombie movies have something more to say, but not forced, not like telling you what to think, but
message.
Just have it's not a big message, but a little social commentary that makes you think. The best science fiction, fantasy, and horror does that.
The best ones are the ones where I would have never thought of that, and then someone who like a Robert Meyer comes out and be like, "Well, really? Did you know that the whole thing was about this?" And you go, "Oh, okay, yeah, I could see that." But also without knowing that interpretation, I like it just fine. So those are the best ones where it's there, but it's open, not like you said in your face.
We'll go through these.
I just like the ones that keep it simple, man. Like honestly, I think that's what I loved about Dawn of the Dead is that there's no explanation. The zombies just come. They just happen.
Right.
On a regular day, like on a regular normal day, the zombies just appear out of nowhere, and that's it.
Well, I for one have always loved zombie movies in terms of like vampires. I'm like okay with it, Wolfman, whatever. But zombie movies I've always loved, and it's really because of my love of George Romero. I just think
your favorite zombie slow.
By the way, fun fact, I'm in the remake of Night of the Living Dead with Tony Todd and Patricia Tallman. I was on set for 2 weeks, slept on the couch of the makeup guys. They put me as prominent zombie in a scene where Tom Savini directed me. I'm in the scene where the truck is blown up. I'm the first zombie to come up and drag the bodies out of the truck. And I started eating. It was chicken covered in the blood they make out of Caro syrup. It was awful, but man, when camera was rolling, I freaking went for it. So I'll post a photo with you can see me right there. But that was so much fun. It was like summer camp, and there was no celebrity, like there was no like the celebrities are here, the zombies are. Everyone hung out. Tony Todd just joking and hanging out. Patricia Tallman, she was there hanging out. It was like there wasn't any separation between extras and stars. Everyone was just, a huge fan. So that's my story. I don't know where Night of the Living Dead, the remake, is on this list. Shaun of the Dead, I don't know about this. I love this movie. It's a comedy more than a horror movie.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
It's a comedy. I think it accommodates it.
Yeah. It should elicit the same reaction that all zombie movies have, and this is all done for laughs.
Yeah.
As much as I love Shaun of the Dead, yes, it's not a horror film.
Yeah.
Now,
it's a spoof.
Yeah.
Right.
Spoof.
Return
Parody,
of the Living Dead. I've always loved this movie. I like that it has, full frontal nudity. That was shocking. It's got the revived animals, which was creepy, and it changed the rules different, which I didn't mind. It was just like, well, here's a different reason that zombies have come to life. And I've always loved this one, always been a favorite. So it's very punk rock and it's funny.
Yeah,
Blood Quantum. What are your
never
thoughts?
Seen it?
Honestly, never heard of it.
Yes, I never heard of it. Never seen it.
Yeah, it's got to be French. That's right.
Record, I remember hearing about, but I would hardly. That was demons. That wasn't zombies.
Nope. Zombieland was fine.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't think. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't think Reanimator should be on this list.
I agree. It's not traditional, but Zombieland was fine. Zombieland was like a zombie video game. You know, like what's that zombie game where you
Dead Rising or there's a couple of them. Yeah,
Dead or Alive, not Dead or Alive.
Well, Dead Rising is the one where it's literally like they give you points, arcade style of the weapons you make and how you kill zombies, fun wise. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's like 4 of them at this point.
Yeah, I love zombie video games. Dead Alive, Peter Jackson, love this movie. When it came out in the early 90s, classic. 28 Days Later, number 12. Yeah, I like this one a lot because it takes itself very seriously.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if this type of zombies, it's all fun for the slow moving zombies and the shambling ones. If we get the running rage zombies, we are screwed.
Yeah, we are screwed. Although I did see
World War Z swarming zombies.
I'll tell you a weird story. I was at Dragon Con and they do a lot of science tracks. They brought in a guy from the military that says the US military has contingency plans for scenarios. They get people together, they talk about scenarios of what would happen if there was an actual zombie outbreak. Yeah. They determined, and you can look this up, they determined that a zombie outbreak in America would be quelled pretty quickly.
We have too many guns.
There is too many guns. There are so many private gun owners in the U.S. that zombies really wouldn't.
I would love a zombie. I would suit up. I got the armor right here in the stand. I got the gun. Let's go. I would love a zombie apocalypse. It would be a fun day.
Europe would be screwed, but in the U.S., citizens would be okay. But I've always loved World War Z, that book. Where
yes.
I think about
by Max Brooks.
Oh
yeah.
Quick recommend the audio version of the book for World War Z.
Yeah.
Is so good. It's an oral history of the zombie war, which takes place over years. And it's like they interview people. So each chapter has a different voice. And it's so well done. There's
so different than the movie. So different than the movie.
The movie was lame. I hate the movie. But that book, the audiobook, fantastic.
Yeah, it's like a World War II reporter going and talking about the different battles and so except it's all zombie. It's post-zombie apocalypse. Yeah, really good.
I don't know if I agree with these choices. This is
barely seen
Day of the Dead at number 15. There were so many good ideas that weren't well executed in that movie. The original script was almost impossible. You could do it now with modern effects. But that movie was filled with some good ideas, but not well done, where people were trying to harness armies of zombies. So nations would use zombies to fight wars. That was the original intent. And it touched on some of that with U.S. government, but didn't really have the budget to follow through.
Little Resident Evil-y.
Your thoughts on this? Any other thoughts on this? The book, this list goes, how is The Corpse Bride, Tim Burton?
I love that movie.
Famous zombie movie.
Well, it's a dead person alive. I guess that's.
I love that movie, but I don't consider it a zombie movie per se.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, they're eating anyone's brains. Isn't that a requirement?
Yeah, eating brains.
Yeah, there's Overlord.
And she doesn't walk around. She has her mind. She's aware. She's not.
Yeah, because I don't consider Frankenstein or his bride a zombie.
No,
even though they're reanimated.
I mean, is Frankenstein a zombie movie?
Yeah, I don't think he is.
He is a zombie.
No, part of the zombie genre is.
But it's a good movie.
A zombie.
Infection. There has to be some sort of infection, either voodoo and or T-virus type thing.
Let's go to your comments here. This list is impossible.
Yeah, The Corpse Bride is not a good choice.
A lot of these movies I wouldn't define as zombie.
Yeah, and Zombie Stripper is all the way down to 95.
Were they just trying to make the 200 that they needed to pull in?
Probably.
Another movie.
There you go. Dawn of the Dead.
There it is at number 24.
24. Wow.
Yeah. And World War
Sarah
Z
Pauli sells it.
Anna and the Apocalypse. I saw this movie. I interviewed the director. I like that movie. It's fun. It's
musical.
I'm glad it's not. It's also partly a musical.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie. Land of the
Cockneys
Dead
versus zombies.
I mean, we can argue this all day. We'll post the link in the description for you guys. Let's get your comments on this now.
It's all subjective. I mean, it's.
Yeah. By the way, I have seen one of them in the top 10. One of the top 10.
Albert, not a retro for 5. Whomsoever wields this BS, if they be self-righteous, shall possess the idiocy of Simu Liu. Well, he is from Harbin, I guess. Oh, sorry, whatever it is. Pilgrim Media for 2. Chris, Anna only has 1 kidney as well. Thomas Pickett for 2. What is the minimal facts for a zombie? You have to shoot them in the head to unalive them.
They have to be dead.
And there has
a person has to be dead. They arise reanimated in another form, brainless, and the only way to kill them is remove the head or shoot them in the head. Those are the simple rules.
No, and you can be infected if you're bitten.
Yeah, infection is a key. Yeah.
If bitten.
Yeah.
So no, I like
or other fluids mixed, which we don't talk about in polite society. Pre-non corpse for $4.99. Watch Zombie 90. All right.
I will. All right. We have a couple more topics here. 2 more topics for today. And we are shorthanded with Rob and DA.
Also pray for Rob's father-in-law, because I guess he took a bad turn health-wise. And
he messaged me. I didn't know about it, so
yeah.
he messaged me this morning. Lucasfilm won't release Star Wars Battlefront 3
because they're bastards. That's why.
Not just that, some fans wanted to make it. And here, let me bring the story up.
They won't release one of the most successful game franchises that they have. How stupid is that?
Well, they're allergic to money, for one thing.
I haven't heard of this.
Never forget, Lucasfilm wouldn't release Star Wars Battlefront 3 when a bunch of fans tried making one. They stopped them too. What do we think about this? I know we don't talk about gaming all that much on this channel, but
dude, they're stupid. You know how big Battlefront 2 was? That was a huge game.
I even played Battlefront 2.
I played 1 and 2. I have problems with 2, but I love that game. I knew the maps. It's like this amazing fantasy it's great. It's multiplayer mayhem. It's so good.
You get to live in this Star Wars world, man, and fight and be a part of it. And it's nothing but a money-making machine.
Yeah, let's remember it's the Lucas Star Wars world, not the Disney Star Wars world.
But this is printing money.
I mean, games were always such a huge part of the franchise from the beginning. Is for Star Wars, but lately under Disney, they have struggled so much. And I like the Fallen Order Survivor games, but that's just one of them. And like Star Wars used to be like tons of diverse kinds of games that were all awesome. But I don't know what's up with the KOTOR remake, and I had never heard of this remake.
One. Thank God you can be happy about that one.
Well,
that's
or
with
the
Saber,
Eclipse. What's the Star Wars Eclipse?
That's gone, and so right now the Knights of the Republic remake is at Saber, which is they just made Space Marine 2. They're the ones that have come out against DEI and talking about good gameplay.
They can't seem to decide if it's dead or not. I thought it was dead, but they keep saying, well,
it was
maybe
dead
not.
Embracer,
well, stop it.
And now it's alive at Saber because Saber left Embracer and they still have it. So I would actually be hopeful about that now.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, they just can't seem to get their act together when it comes to one of the most profitable and beloved parts of the franchise when it comes to video games. Don't do a KOTOR remake. Do something else, but do that well. You've only done well when you've done original things. With Cal Kestis, the story, that's fine. Do more stuff, but other things. They can't. Like Battlefront. I don't know.
Look, they probably want to add their new stuff into it. And you know what? If they want to do that, fine. Then go ahead and mix the old with the new, but give the players a choice in what they want to play, right? We're not saying don't add Rey and all those characters, but give us the choice of not picking Rey.
I think this goes back to just the IP itself is based off of films. That's what the original IP was based off of. But now the new one, they're trying to establish this new franchise under Disney, but you can't get the films right. If you didn't do that right, it affects everything else. It affects all of these other kind of branches of the franchise. We've seen it in the books and these other extended and shows, and now it extends to video games too. If you can't get the core of your IP done well and to where it's get the people flocking to that and embracing those stories, then you're not going to be able to launch a successful extended universe into these other franchise or these other mediums.
Could you imagine if Star Wars Outlaws focused on Han Solo?
Sorry.
Now you could choose other characters if you want, but why not Han Solo? It's so obvious to me, right? That could have been, I mean, I hear the gameplay mechanics and everything about it are terrible, but this whole thing is just really sad because just the summary of this story, a fan project once aimed to create an unofficial Star Wars Battlefront 3 game. Lucasfilm intervened, citing EA's exclusive rights to develop Star Wars games. The incident highlights the ongoing tension between fan passion and corporate interests in the gaming industry. They shut down the fan-made version. I mean, this is the whole thing that's amazing about Star Wars fandom in general is how much fans actually have an influence, right? Well, they will contribute things, right? Contribute creativity. Having gone to Star Wars Celebration, most of them in years past, I've seen so many creative things that fans came up with, whether it's different builds, whatnot. When Lucas was running Lucasfilm and Star Wars, he embraced fans. He loved it. He did a fan film competition. They did have rules, but they weren't even strictly enforced.
He embraced the money that the expanded universe brought in that let him do with his special editions, which is what Disney could have been doing. By the way, Elaine, you pointed to the movies can all be crap and we could still have great games because there's all this expanded universe they could be basing them on, but they've ignored that too. So you get Star Wars Outlaws with Kay Vess instead of Han Solo, who's busy frozen in carbonite. Because the Star Wars story group is the one in charge now, and they have horrible ideas because they have horrible people who love all the Star Wars.
Wait, is that her actual name? Kay Vess?
Kay Vess, that's her actual name, yes.
Yikes.
Yay. I'm just sad about this because it shows the disconnect that the current administration, talking about Lucasfilm, the current people lording over Lucasfilm and shepherding these IPs have a profound misunderstanding of the audience.
Not misunderstanding, disdain.
Right.
They know what we want, and they don't want us to want that. They're going to show us. They're going to tell us what we want. And then when we don't like it and we reject it, when we ask for Han Solo instead of Kay Vess, they'll call us all the fun things they call us.
Yeah. It just makes me sad.
They just don't seem competent enough to shepherd this multimedia franchise. This used to be like so huge in all aspects of this IP, and all the things we're doing well, merchandise, video games, shows, films, like they were all doing so well. And now it's just, you can tell that this starts from the top, that there's just mismanagement and just people overseeing this IP that just don't know what they're doing. They don't have a passion for what their field is. When there's more qualified individuals clearly out there that created the previous EU, we know you can put these competent people and passionate people in charge, but I don't know, they're just not doing that, and they're just letting it flounder into oblivion.
Also want to control.
Just to add to this, shooters aren't doing very well right now as a genre of gaming. To have a legit Star Wars shooter right now, it would be like just raining in money.
Yeah,
it would just be raining money for them. Because
I wish,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I wish they would also put more attention into Star Wars: The Old Republic. The
still playing
MMO. That was my jam.
Just got my Basilisk War Droid and unlocked the special second customization, which no one has yet. Yes,
You're still playing it?
Since beta. Yes,
that's wild.
Well, I feel like they're letting it die. It's like I've been on it a couple times recently.
The current story of the Mandalorian Civil War and then this holocron that can unlock people's force powers is interesting. It's better than anything Disney Plus is doing. But yeah,
has a community though. Are people playing it?
Yeah, because they went free to play, and so the veterans are still there.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll still see a lot of people with Founder and Legacy titles, and there's new people. There's new people joining it. Free to play, unfortunately, is just a fact of life for all MMOs.
Hey, some people are still playing DC Universe Online, and I thought that game
I'm
died.
Still playing DC Universe Online. Yes, that's right. I have the Henry Cavill emblem that you can't get anymore.
They changed companies, though, right? It's not their usual.
Yeah, they switched, but
studio.
They've returned to more cinematic trailers and storytelling and dialogue.
I think they're just trying to do too much with that game. They tried to be all of the things
at first
that MMOs
100%.
are.
Yes,
the single player story mode part and then the multiplayer part. I just don't think they got it. I thought they were in maintenance mode now with the change in leadership, but
no, we've got new stories. They just had a cinematic trailer you can go that's really good. For what it is, for how long it's been going, I am actually more hopeful for that than I am anything to do with Star Wars. Is the Old Republic MMO? Yeah. The people who run that, it's based out of Austin too, BioWare Austin. They actually like what they're working on, it seems.
Oh, good. Okay, I have hope for that then. I haven't liked it since the Shadow Revan storyline.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
The story since then that much.
Yeah,
and that one's also free to play, right? The DC one.
It is. Yeah.
Well, free to play.
Up to a certain point, yeah, no. But they go into a great lane. If you just buckle down, they go into the whole Eternal Empire storyline of this secret empire.
I played that, and then I was okay. But I don't like this how it's set up with the chapters. I thought it was better how the Shadow of Revan expansion.
Point being, somewhere out there, at least in the Old Republic and others, you can find ever so much hints of what Star Wars was.
Elaine, are you looking forward to the Dune open world game? I cannot wait.
I am actually. It looks really good, surprisingly. And again, like as far as the world and story, it's an interesting thing they're trying to do too. It's an original storyline. It's based off of Frank Herbert's, but it's an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a neat way to do it. Still exist within Frank Herbert's universe, but have a story that you have a lot of options. Like we're basically the Paul character. We're trying to accrue power for ourselves on Arrakis.
But they say no religion. Like you're just going there to make it's a survival game. So I'm
no,
going
they
to go
said
there as
there's
a mercenary.
religion in it, but they said that you are not the Kwisatz Haderach, basically.
Right. That's what I meant. Yeah, that you yourself are not joining the Fremen.
Yeah. You're
well, let's go to
you're
comments here. And we have one last topic real quick.
Albert Not a Retro for 2. Simu Liu's wife is cute. I wonder, appropriation?
Wait. Simu Liu's wife is what?
Either a white girl or
what Alan? No, you're muted, Alan. You're muted.
Probably the best.
She's Asian.
Oh,
wait. Kind? What kind of Asian?
The slanty-eyed kind.
No, Alan.
Stop. Oh my god.
What appropriation, I wonder, is he accusing?
She's, it's like all the other cute Asian friends of mine.
Yeah.
Is she also passionate about boba as well?
What was that?
Yeah.
Is she also passionate about boba as well?
About boba?
No idea.
That's so cringe.
I just see a picture. I don't know how passions
are. G-Man for 5. Battlefront 3 doesn't uplift minorities. Simu Liu has more power than we know.
Jeez.
Thank you.
Albert Not a Retro for 5. Star Wars Outlaws should have been a cross between Fallout and Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, they could have even brought in Dash Rendar. Yeah. So real quickly, that is that Disney Star Wars. That's that story group that can't actually show you the realities of a Star Wars. So it's PG Outlaw. But yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, I don't know. I loved Shadows of the Empire, Prince Shizor. I still have the soundtrack.
Who tries to hook up with Leia very explicitly in the audiobooks and like is sitting there almost naked with his like. Remember back in the day on TV, they would sell you the ab workout machines that you put the electrodes on your stomach and it would flex your muscles for. Shizor is sitting there like naked with his muscle workouts going with trying to seduce Leia. Yeah, those books were great. Shadows of the Empire.
Awesome. That whole idea of a video game, a soundtrack, a book, like
comics,
action figures, comics. It was everything but the movie, and it was an indication that could be so successful. It's an indication they just should have made Star Wars sequels when, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill were younger.
In the 90s, when they were doing the Yuzhan Vong and Mark Hamill came back to voice a trailer and everyone lost their shit that Luke Skywalker, and it was in the 90s. If they had done it then, if they had just done it then.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I would even argue they probably should have did that instead of the prequels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do the prequels later.
You could have done the prequels out. Yes. Unfortunately. And then start it when Anakin is 16, not 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. One final topic today. Guess what? Studios are finally starting to fight toxic fandom. Here it is.
Ruh-roh.
That's us. He made a slanty-eyed Asian joke.
Just now?
Yeah. And of course, I don't know how I said we would never talk about the Acolyte again. I vow to keep my promise, but
every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Here it is from Collider. Studios are finally starting to fight toxic fandom. It's not enough. I don't know if you can read this.
Sorry, who's the author, by the way?
Ryan Looney.
Ryan Looney. This is a week old. He's story.
Alone.
But
do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
As great as online spaces can be for fans to bond over shared interests, it's no secret that they also have a darker side. Fans feel entitled to own the identity of a franchise once considered theirs and not exactly a new phenomenon, as Star Wars can attest, but the use of social media has transformed what should be a fringe group of extremists into a movement in and of itself. Many of these hateful campaigns have since infiltrated spaces even outside those normally seen as part of geek culture, with Bridgerton being perhaps the most notable example, and they have proven actively harmful to both fans and creators alike.
Bridgerton's a geek thing?
Yeah, I'm like, have any of us
What?
ever covered Bridgerton?
No,
Because we talked about the body positive number 3 that showed her booba. Was it a hate campaign to mention it? For shows like The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, among others, the biggest casualties of such terrible hate speech are usually women, people of color, and LGBTQ groups, while the claims of bad writing, bad writing and DEI is just it's a dog whistle. Bad writing make it difficult to discuss or criticize a show in actual good faith. Recently, some shows have taken it upon themselves to confront such a problem directly. Still, they need more explicit support from the studios, whose efforts can seem genuine, but are usually misguided or inadequate. For these fandoms to survive, those involved in any form must denounce these hate campaigns for what they are, while also promoting diversity and new progressive voices. Was this written by Jodie Turner Smith? Is this what she said?
No,
that
Ryan
they should have
Mooney.
protected them? So yeah. It's our fault. Is this gonna? I can guess what the next part of the article. This is our fault from the prequel
this
trilogies.
is like a history lesson now. Toxic fandoms have a long and shameful history.
Holy hell! All right. Perhaps the most important aspect of fandom is that it remains an identity for many people. When you become so invested in a specific franchise due to its characters, world building, and lore, the passion fans have for it can be a major way in which you define your own values. In the right kind of spaces, this could create a sense of belonging, with conventions and film festivals each being great examples. But few things terrify people more than having those identities being threatened.
Oh my goodness. What?
Read this whole thing. This is literally him just blaming us, calling us bigots and saying that we're scared and our PBs are small because we don't like them ruining our beloved franchises.
I like Dune and Star Wars and all this, but it's not my identity.
Yeah, there's often you're a bigot, Elaine. Obviously, look, there's often a distinctive element of bigotry involved. Yeah, I'm very bigoted about Star Wars. I have unmoving thoughts about it. Sorry, I'm also zealotrous about it.
Who's making the claim? Well, it seems like they're the ones that think they own it.
This loony guy.
They identify with it and they feel attacked if you.
So if I get this right, what they're saying is they want the studios to take all the risk for their ideologies, right? They want the studios to risk their finances, to risk going bankrupt for them to feel good about themselves, right?
Yeah, he ends it here saying that the issue has grown so rapidly these days that even prominent filmmakers have taken notice, and I'm assuming this is the Francis Ford Coppolas that have commented and been repulsed by them, but it's also a problem that goes back much further than we might like to admit to ourselves. I swear to God, if he says the fandom menace.
Wait, put a pause on that for a second. Is anyone complaining about the Penguin?
Nope.
I mean, one of the most likable characters, Victor, I don't know. He's not white.
No, he's
Everyone
black. He's black.
Love him.
No,
black.
He's Guatemalan and Dominican or whatever.
Sorry,
Well, I was gonna say black Hispanic.
It's my representation.
He ain't white.
It's my Latin representation. Yeah, we all love Sophia, a strong female character with nuance.
Yeah, Sophia. Also, like when a character is well written, like it works. It works. Anyways. You want to continue here?
All right, this is where he's going to do a gross reframing and blame us for Ahmad Best and Jake Lloyd when they have both gone on record saying that it was the press and print media, not the fans, that the fans have been nothing but lovely to them. So one of the earliest examples of this playing out in real time happened with the Star Wars prequels, which tried to appeal to a new generation in the late 1990s and early 2000s. In what must have felt like a shocking event at the time, actors Jake Lloyd and Ahmad Best both received shocking levels of hate mail for their respective portrayals of young Anakin Skywalker and Jar Jar Binks, respectively. While while
this is a lie. Jake Lloyd's
it's a
mother
lie. I know.
did confirm this quite recently, so I hate seeing this over and
I
over
hate seeing it too. I hate reading it but that's why, it's a lie. Clearly not their fault. Agreed. And the depression, all that. Yeah, this all comes from the print media, receipts about the hate mail. This is the same thing with Kelly Marie Tran.
Well, because they're actually the ones that started the hate campaign against Ahmad Best because they thought his portrayal was racist.
Yeah.
He said that.
Yeah.
I remember even Spike Lee even criticized episode 1 for Jar Jar.
And the Nemoidians.
Yeah, I remember that.
Criticism.
Even though George Lucas says that Jar Jar is based on Goofy, the Disney cartoon character Goofy with the big ears. That's what he was going for.
It's the one criticism.
Who played him. I didn't even know who played Jar Jar. I was just a kid who saw Funny Alien. I didn't know who the actor was, and I didn't care.
I was 13 at the time. I didn't mind Jar Jar.
But it was the media that said he was his portrayal and went specifically towards the actor. He has said this recently too. He's come out and said this, and that he loves the fans. So
and that they go on to reframe about the mental health. But as we've pointed out, that was not us. That was them.
And I'll say this: my take on Jar Jar is I liked his introduction in episode 1. He's very likable. There is one problem with Jar Jar, and it's not the character. Screen time.
There's a lot.
He has way too much screen time. It's like making C-3PO. C-3PO is fine in doses, but he's annoying and flamboyant.
It throws off the tone.
It throws off the tone, but you do need comic relief in a Star Wars movie. So Jar Jar, my only issue with him is if you had cut his scenes down, you would miss him. But he's such a central focus.
And the second one, for sure.
Well, and then the second one, he went away. So it's like he needed less screen time. If you've ever seen the re-edits of episode 1, when he has less screen time, he's a great character, actually. He's comic relief character. I don't mind him.
I just realized the whole point of this article, and this is them laying the groundwork. Are you ready? Anyone on this panel, if you have a legitimate criticism of Skeleton Crew, I want you to understand you're guilty of attacking children. This is going to be the reframing. You can see it right here. It sets a worrying sign for upcoming shows like Skeleton Crew. And I've already seen the post starting to protect these kids, this and this and this. This is just laying the groundwork to obfuscate any legit criticism as hatred towards the children actors.
Can you just finish up reading this paragraph, and then we'll discuss.
We did. We're just at the bottom where it says, while it's good to know that was not the main contributing factor for Lloyd, the worst side of fandom remains a worrying sign for upcoming shows like Skeleton Crew, whose diverse cast is largely composed of children.
Honestly, what I've seen from Skeleton Crew, I don't mind it. I don't mind. It is a kids show like the Ewok movies that were made for TV movies in the 80s. Those are fine. They're for kids. And the one trailer we got from Skeleton Crew, it just looks inoffensive and looks fine. Like a kid show. Like, I don't know.
It's not a show that's made for us. Okay. It's not made for adults. It's made for children. We know that. They know we know that. That's the problem. They're being disingenuous here.
Who goes after the actors? Oh, by the way, I was at a screening of Young Woman and the Sea, and Daisy Ridley was there. And
you went after her, didn't you?
What's that?
You went after her, didn't you?
I did not.
You call her Palpatine?
She did a Q&A. She is perfectly gracious, grateful. She didn't say one thing. Star Wars never came up, by the way.
Shocking.
Never came up. But who goes after the actors? I think that's crazy people. I don't think any criticism ever went after the actors.
I've never criticized one actor, even all the like maybe I've said they've said dumb things, but as far as like the stuff in the actual shows, I've criticized the lore changes.
Right. Yeah, we criticize the characters, right? Like we criticize Reva because Reva is a terrible character. I don't care how you splice it. She is a terrible character. We criticized Rose Tico because she was a terrible character. We never went after the actors. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure that there are assholes out there who probably did send the actors some bad things. I get that, right? But that's called the internet. The internet has a lot of bad people on it,
And
right?
Dante, when they show pictures, it's like them, like, you're a diversity hire. It's like, well, yeah, that's not, bro, I get death threats. Like, you should see some of the people, what they say. Like, this is welcome to the internet.
Yeah, welcome to the internet. That's just what it is, unfortunately. But we, as YouTubers, have never really gone after the actors for the roles that they played. Now, but like Badger said, we do go after them for dumb things they say in the media, but we don't go after the characters that they played in the shows or the movies.
Yeah, because it's the writers and the creators and directors. I mean, they're just playing the part that they were hired to do.
Exactly.
But, yeah, normal.
We
sane
normally
people
figure
know
that
that.
out.
However, I'll say this: when an actor goes after fans or makes a stupid statement,
Yes.
they make themselves a target,
Yes.
and that's basically Simu Liu on a Tuesday, because he
Yes.
seems to always put his foot in his mouth.
And that was Amanda Stenberg. That was like the majority of those issues.
Well,
It was
and
Brie,
now
it was
Cynthia
Zegler, it was all
Erivo.
of them.
Yeah, now Cynthia Erivo with Wicked.
But
Oh,
Yeah.
Kelly Marie Tran, she's lovely. Daisy Ridley is lovely. I mean, these people are not who they play.
No,
I shouldn't have to say this. That sounds stupid.
They're all good actors and actresses, and you put them in these productions.
This is their
and they're
job.
Horrible.
Look, every time Amanda Stenberg, you know, whenever there's a picture of her wearing something sexy, I'm the first to compliment her. I'm the first to say, man, they did her dirty in that show because this woman is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I'll be the first to say it.
In that music video, she looked very attractive. In the show, they put her in this dumpy outfit that hides her body, her face, even that hair.
That Rick James hairdo.
It didn't work for her. It wasn't complimentary.
Yeah. They did the same to Kelly Marie Tran. She's a very beautiful actress, and they put her in that frumpy outfit, and the jumpsuit.
Asian
Honestly,
the Asian front haircut.
The Asian haircut.
What is
they
it?
do this to all these women. They try to take their beauty and attractiveness away. Let them flaunt it if they
because of the male gaze.
Because the male gaze distracts you from the story. That's the problem.
It's the male gaze and the male gaze gays.
It's this and the other one that's ruining it.
Here's one point that this is from Ray Glendening. Pay money for what they like and are allowed to say if they don't like the direction. And I thought about that for the last few weeks, but I remember I spent a lot of money on not just tickets, but the toys and everything. I have to feel like that's an investment. That's a real investment, that fans are real owners of these IPs.
Okay.
They're the one funding these things.
Alan, I'm gonna go a step further with you on that one. Let's be honest here, man. After Return of the Jedi, Star Wars was dead. It was dead. We kept that franchise alive.
A universe, yes.
We kept it alive. The nerds, like back when all the cool people thought like Star Wars fans were geeks and nerds, right? Back when it was uncool to be a nerd or geek, we kept that franchise alive.
Yeah, that's what gave them the money for the special editions.
Yes,
yeah, the special editions came out so that fans would buy tickets for it and give Lucas money to make the prequels.
Yes.
So yes, we feel entitled because we kept them alive.
And before we get to those super chats, this is what made Henry Cavill so it was when they tried to call us toxic. He goes, no. Fans that's passion, and they have a right because they are the ones involved in this and their views. Yeah. We have a bit of a right.
I post that all the time. I love that. It's as relevant
it's so
as ever.
good. Yes, and it ages like a fine wine.
We were made fun of for liking these nerdy things before, and now we're made fun of for not liking it. Like y'all are kind of the bullies now in this situation, attacking people for not just consuming. And you're even saying it, oh, they're just using bad writing as a shield. Well, it is bad writing, and you cannot objectively, that is so stupid argument to make when it's legitimate. It is perfectly legitimate, especially with like Rings of Power. There is so much wrong with that show and so much wrong with the character of Galadriel. That's not, I have nothing against Morfydd Clark, because she's not responsible for the stupid choices her character makes. I mean, it sounds like they have the problem with, thinking they own this, that they own this IP now. They're thinking, oh, they used to own it before and they feel like they need to say something now. Well, it feels like you feel like you own it now and now feel like attacked because we don't like it.
Yeah, because we're attacking them because they've attached themselves and their ideology to their products.
They identify with it. It is their identity and feel personally attacked.
Yeah, I mean, my point is that we invested in these things. The reason this stuff exists Star Wars kept going on as long as it did is because we fans invested our monies to see it happen.
Star Wars Theory was hiding, reading stuff at high school, like in the bathroom. Like this used to be and now we've talked about this. The people that used to make fun of us are the ones that control it and change it and then attack us.
Yeah, when it became popular and mainstream, that's when the problem started.
Very alienating. Very alienating.
Right. Let's go to our final comments here as we wrap up. We're going to start. Albert Not a Retro has a 3-parter. I'm going to start with this.
Thomas Pickett for 5. They make beautiful actresses ugly. Not because of men. It is because they want everyone to be the same. That's part of it.
Yeah.
But men look good.
Yeah.
I mean, why can't...
It's because of unrealistic beauty standards, but not for women. It's for those 2.0 women. So everyone looks a little more manly. Just a common thing I've seen. Albert Not a Retro for 5. Wasn't Jake Lloyd bullied by fans or something? He's currently in a mental health facility and has been for over a year, according to his mother. No.
He has like a history of mental illness in his family, and this was something that was already there. But no, his mom came out quite recently and said that he didn't know about any of this. He just had a normal childhood, and that she protected him, I guess, from any other comments. But no, he wasn't aware of anything, and he had a happy childhood and a happy time making those movies, and he has good memories. And she said that he has fond memories of his time in Star Wars. So this was, I mean, unfortunately, this is a genetic mental health issue that just kind of cropped up. That's what. So, but he's
so the media knows this and keeps pushing that lie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same thing with Ahmad Best.
Yeah, mainstream media reported on it, so it's
I could have sworn she just came out and said he was doing a lot better too, and like ready to try acting again or something. But maybe either way.
And he even said that he likes the new Star. He likes The Mandalorian, and he's seen some new stuff too.
Yeah, Albert Not a Retro for 5. By the way, when I said appropriation, I meant appropriating her while Simu Liu is out of town making bad Shang-Chi sequel. Yeah,
I don't think they'll ever do Shang-Chi 2.
Yeah, because the director's going to do Spider-Man in between Doomsday and Secret. Yeah. So Daniel Dustin Cretton. Albert Not a Retro for 5. I'm not saying R-rated, but the open world, create a character, repercussions for your actions, world building, and so on. It could still be PG or PG-13. I don't remember what that was in regards to. Was it the Dune game or what? I'm not saying R-rated, but
or Star Wars maybe.
Oh, for Star Wars,
the Dune game, which I am going to I might pre-order. I've gotten burned on pre-orders.
Dude, don't do the pre-orders, man. They never work out.
They'll take your money at any time.
Yeah. The idea of a pre-order is you get something extra you wouldn't have gotten if you didn't pre-order it.
Right, but the extra now in this like the last decade is stuff that would have been in the main game that they now just pull out to sell back to you in a pre-order stuff.
Sucks.
And I would say after the people who pre-order forget that there's early access to the game and they miss it completely.
Or like Star Wars Outlaws, they did it 3 days early and then had to delete and redo it because of the patch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, apologies for the false start of the show. Thank you for sticking with us or coming back. Everyone, let's go around the horn, starting with Elaine.
Actually, with Albert Not a Retro for $2, Star Wars Outlaws, that could have been.
Oh, thank you, Albert. Appreciate that. Elaine with Nerd Cookies, plug your channel, please.
You can find me here on YouTube. And the main channel, Nerd Cookies, I cover sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. So I'm covering Dune Prophecy. Just dropped a video today about the new information about the new show. And on Nerd Cookies Rants, my second channel, where we have fun and laugh about all the craziness within our favorite IPs. So, and on Twitter at Nerd Cookies as well. Thanks again for inviting me. This was a lot of fun.
And I just started watching your live streams. Awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Dante.
Yeah, you guys can catch me Wednesday where I'll be talking the fall of BioWare with Yellow Flash, Adenion, Smash JT, all those guys. We're going to be talking about gaming on Wednesday. My show is going to be Thursday, 6 o'clock as usual. And Saturday night, I'll either be doing my own after hours or I'll be hanging out with Yellow Flash and those guys again. So either way, you'll see me all week.
And here on Versus.
And always here on Versus on Mondays.
So give Verbal Riot a sub. Angry Badger.
I've got Badgercast coming up right now in 30 minutes. I put the link in the private chat if you could post that for them. And then I see
Alan.
Predon Corpse for $2 says Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes was and still is fun. And yeah, it is. I play that one too. Check me out on a Badgercast 30 minutes. We'll talk about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes if you want.
Go on over to Badgercast after this. Thank you, everyone who put in a super chat. Thank you. The link is right there, Alan.
I know, it's in the wrong.
Thank you, everyone, for coming back when we had a false start on the show. We started 15 minutes late for technical issues. We are modless today, so we are, I don't know. It's like going commando.
Thankfully, Alan, the great Lord Thoth.
Yes. I will be,
Alan,
I'll be at Newport Beach Film Festival, about to see a documentary about how math is racist. I'm excited.
Ooh, so we will be back on Wednesday for Hollywood on the Rocks. We'll talk about we're going to talk about the Hollywood Purge and also Newport Beach Film Festival. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting us, and we will see you on the next show.
Let's get out of here.